Hey, Witchy School of Wisdom, how are you? Master your magic, folks. How are you doing today? It is Witchy Wisdom Wednesday. So I'm trying to make sure that I am live in the group, and I think we are good. So, welcome to Witchy Wisdom Wednesday. So glad to have you here. I have one person watching me, so if you're here, please say hello. We're going to spend a little bit of time together, so you might want to grab your drink, get some notes, get some coffee, magical brew, some tea, whatever you need to do, because you might be here a little bit more than a half an hour. I'm going to try to keep it really condensed, but so you may be here a little bit more than a half an hour today. So if you are here, let me catch up on comments. Let me know where you're from. And while we wait for some people to come in. Hey Gina, how are you? Gina was our top winner for the month of June. Oh my gosh, we're already in July. Can you believe that shit? So congratulations to Gina for winning that 30-minute spot with me, so we can dive deep into your magic and divine, right, some stuff, and while we grow together. Oh my god, I can't speak today. I'm on this new diet, and it's a lot of like low carb, and now I might have this brain fog going on until my body gets used to it. So congratulations to Gina for winning that top spot. So we're going to spend 30 minutes together, and we're going to create her destiny using her intuition, remove some of her blocks, see what's coming up, and map out her magical couple more months together. So see what's going on with her. So it's going to be a really good 30 minutes. So I'm excited. Hey, Tanya's here. How are you? We missed you. So I hadn't seen you around lately. So how have you been? Hope you're doing well. Happy Wednesday, everyone. So how are you liking the Divination series so far? It's only day 2, right? Let me know how you're liking it so far. Give me some hearts up. So while you're giving me some feedback on the week, so let me introduce myself, because we have a lot of new people in the group. So today I'm drinking out of my pink cup. I love this cup. This cup is interesting because I found this, I think, at a thrift store or something, because I am a huge thrifter. I love to go to antique stores and find vintage dishware and vintage things to go on my vintage gothic wall that I have in front of me. Hey Princess, how are you? Seattle! I was supposed to be out there in May, and we had change of plans because of the COVID. So thank you for joining me from Seattle. So I just love this cup. I don't know why. And pink is not my color. I am not a pink girl, but I just like the way I just like it. So go ahead and introduce you to everyone. Say hello. I'm loving the information that you guys are getting with the Divination Week, or series that I'm working on. Yesterday we did tarot. Today I'm going to do like an overview of what's coming up. So Madam Z here, before I even start, so I'm a Magickal Life coach and the High Priestess of the Academy and of this group, Master Your Magic, and I have an online Witch Academy, which is the knees bees, everyone. So all the stuff that you are actually seeing now in this group is actually in the Academy. So I'm super excited about the Academy. We got some amazing freaking women in that Academy, and lots of stuff going on, lots of stuff coming up. So I'm super excited about the Academy. So welcome to Master Your Magic, and so glad to share sacred space with you as we talk about the Divination series. Gina says she's loving it. My candle is still burning, but no dripping. What kind of candle do you have? Do you have a jar candle? We're going to go over some stuff. I'm going to show you some examples of what's coming up. Do you have a jar candle, or do you just have a chime candle, or just a regular candle, or what's going on with that? Let me know, because that makes a difference. So let me pull up some stuff. Let me pull up our Facebook group, because I want to look at some, oops, wrong group. That's my Academy group. because I want to look at some of the examples that you guys did for pulling your tarot and lighting your candles, and because I want to talk about some stuff. So let's talk about first their divination one. We're going to talk about all kinds of cool stuff, okay? So let's start off with divination, and I'm going to pull a card. So Gina pulled the strength card in her herbal tarot deck. Gina, tell me what question you had when you pulled this card, because I teach tarot. I'm a master tarot reader. I've read tarot all over the world for many, many people, and I have a certified tarot course that I absolutely love. But I want to know, you said you had confirmation of something that you posted early in response to something, but did you have a specific question that you would like to share with the group? While she is posting that, divination is just one tool, or tarot is just one tool of divination. I have hundreds of tarot decks. Now, my go-to, or what I call a soul tarot deck, is the one that you automatically connect with. And for me, this is the Everyday Witch Tarot. And I'll show you that. That's the back. That's what the cards look like, and as you can see, it's pretty worn. It's all bent up and all like kind of shuffled, and it's kind of like got wear and tear on it. But I like that. I like it because lots of energy is in this deck. So it is Everyday Witch Tarot. This is the deck that I use for all of my tarot readings, although I have hundreds of tarot decks. I have tarot decks for every different season of the year, wheel of the year kind of things. Votive, uncontained. Okay. So we'll look at that a little bit more. And also I have tarot decks that are specifically used for specific readings, for spiritual work, for connecting with past loved ones, to get spirit messages, to solve unsolved, or try to solve unsolved mysteries, for paranormal activity or paranormal investigation. I have different cards or tarot cards that I use for that specific reason. So the one that I am loving now, which is kind of interesting because it's not that time of year. Usually darker decks I use for Samhain, or the darker half of the year, is the Haunted House Tarot. Now I love this deck. It's kind of based on your Rider-Waite, but it's not really. It's Rider-Waite themed, but it has its own kind of energy around it. And the creator of this deck was amazing. It's about this woman who she is in this haunted house. And the very first card is she's going to this haunted house. Well, it is her journey and her story of who she meets, and it's kind of like tarot card along the way in this haunted house. But it's really good for spiritual work, for finding out what's going to be happening, unsolved mysteries. So this is called the Haunted House Tarot, and this is the back of it, so it's pretty cool. And then these are some of the images of it. So even though it's based on Rider-Waite, it's a little bit different, has its own theme. So this gives you some insight about, see, like this is the Magician card for her in this deck. He kind of looks like Jeff Bridges, I think. This person looks like Jeff Bridges. So, and this is the Four of Cups. This is what I call a butthurt card, right? Or brat card. It's like, why you got your feelings all up in your, get out of your head while you're all up in your feelings. Stop being so butthurt. So, this is the one that I'm kind of digging right now, one of my favorite decks that I am working with. But we have a lot of tarot readers in here and a lot of tarot people who want to learn tarot. So the most known form of divination is tarot. So I wanted to start off with tarot and talk a little bit about tarot. but it's not the only form. So let me see what Gina has to say. I didn't have a question, just had a racist issue happen to me, and I didn't quite know how to handle. Oh, so that's why I have the strength card. When I pulled the strength card strength card, it told me that's what it had to take to get through. Yes. I'm very polite and professional in how I address this person who targeted me. Good. Kudos to you, because I don't know if I could do that. I'm kind of pissed off about that right now. So she pulled the strength card. So usually what I do, if you're beginning with tarot, do daily card draws. And I want you to use your intuition when you do any kind of divination. Now, when I teach my students divination, I teach them how to intuitively read divination. I can give you the basics for it. I can give you what the system is. But then after you master that, it's time for you to make your own system. It's time for you to feel into your cards. So that's what I tell my students when they first start learning tarot, is pull a daily card, ask a question, a specific question, because the universe does not like generalities. They like specific questions. And it's important that you ask specific questions, and they will give you an answer. So let's say, for instance, I'm not going to use this one. This one's a little bit darker, but I'm going to use my Everyday Witch Tarot, which is a fun card. So let's just say, for an example, you pulled a card. I'm not even going to ask a question. Well, let's ask a question. What do I need to know for today? What do I need to be aware of for today? So, ooh, my cards are mad at me because I have not been reading with them for this week. So, and here's a tip. You can tell when a deck is responding to you or not responding to you, how it shuffles, and if it feels right, if it feels in flow, if it's just all over the place, if they're not landing where they're supposed to land, if you got lots of jumpers, if it feels forced, then that means something is going on. That means that you need to reconnect with your deck. You need to work with it more. See how that one just fell out? It's mad at me because I have not touched this deck all week. So, it's mad. And you'll know the personalities of the deck. You'll get to know them. So let's ask, for an example, what we need to know for this week. This is about right. So, hey April, thanks for joining us. So, the Five of Pentacles for this week is so freaking hilarious. This is so right. So let me make sure I got this in the camera. So the Five of Pentacles, this is how you feel into it. This is using your intuition. So for me, when I asked what we're going to be doing this year, this energy of this week, which is normal for all of us, is we need to watch our money. This is money. It has to do with Pentacles, the Suit of Pentacles. This means that my money's not going to be coming in this week, which is automatically, it's true. It's the first of the month. That's when most of our bills are due, right? The rent's due, mortgages due, car payments due, phone bills due. So this week may be a little bit tight for us financially. Now, when you look at this card, it's like, oh my God, this person just feels like she's out in the cold all the time. She's feeling like she's looking for help, or she is just trying to find answers and things aren't flowing. Things are kind of frozen. She's looking kind of destitute, right? So this is how you feel into your deck, into your card, into your reading. The colors aren't bright. The colors are kind of drab, kind of grayish, right? So things aren't looking really good for this person for this week. So we need to pay attention to our money and our spending. So that is how you look and feel into a card using your intuition. How does it feel? How does this person reacting? What is the action that this person is doing? Is this person doing any action at all, or are they standing still? What is the emotion? What is the color therapy? What is the overall feeling of this card? I'm actually doing money challenge this month. Oh, sweet. Good. So it's not uncommon that the first of the month that some of us are just kind of you know, we gotta watch our money, right? So that's what the cards are telling us. Watch your money this week, because it's not going to be flowing in as well as it does in the middle of the week or the second week. So look at the colors. Look what's going on in the scene. What I usually tell my clients is drop yourself into that card. What do you see? What do you feel? Is it cold? Is it hot? Is it warm? Is it fiery? Is it just in flow? Is it like stagnant? Is it negative energy, fighting, carrying on? Is it pleasant? Are they partying? Are you having a good time? Are you thinking? So just drop yourself into the scene, and that will give you an overall feeling of using your intuition on what that card means, despite what the little white book says that comes with the deck. So hopefully that helps. So let's move on to, today was candle magic, right? Candles, wax readings. There is so much to candle wax readings. Candle wax readings, if I can say that fast, that I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview to get you started on how to read some of this stuff. Now, in my academy, I teach this in depth, and this is part of the psychic development module. But I'm just going to give you a little bit, so, because, I mean, this is a big, huge course, and we don't have time for it, but I can give you a little bit on how to start reading it. So let's look at what you probably need to do. So you light your candle, what you're looking for. Decide if, when you light your candle, you want to make sure you ask a question, then light the candle. You want to decide which side is going to be your left side, or which side is going to be your right side, right? You're going to look at that. Which one's north, which one's south, or above and below, because that means a lot. So what you're going to do is you're going to light your candle, ask your question, light your candle, and you're going to sit in front of it and you're going to watch the wax. Wax candle divination, you cannot leave. You have to watch it transform, because sometimes a symbol will be there for a second and then it'll melt away. Sometimes it'll form another kind of tower and then it won't be there, because it's ever flowing, it's ever changing. And if you just light that candle and you leave it and you come back to it when it's completely burned, you miss the entire reading, the entire energy around what is going on with that candle. You're missing the entire picture. You're just getting the beginning and the end. You don't know what your transformation is going to be in the middle of that. So that's why it's important that you know that you need to set your candle up. You need to make sure you have time to do this. You need to sit quietly. You need to meditate with this. You need to have a notebook so you can write down symbols. You can write down flows. You can write down towers, which one has a tower, and what the symbols are. So I'm going to give you a little bit of what's happening with that and what you need to be watching for. And also, I'm going to give you some examples. So before we get started, let me catch up on comments. Let me know if you guys in the comments have ever done any candle wax divination, or if this is your first time. Princess pulled the 10 of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, and the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. It's all about money for you this week, my friend. Isn't it always, though, right now, about money? It's about money for all of us right now. Jeannie said, I thought we had to let it melt completely. Well, I missed a lot. Yeah, that's why it is important that this is just a little bit of how you read candle magic. In the academy, I teach you step by step how to do this. And it's just like witching. I'm the go-to person to figure all of this out, to lead you step by step on how to figure this out, because if you can't do it by yourself, because you're going to miss a lot of steps in between. So this is Gina's first time. Princess's first time wax divination. Okay, so let's just do a little bit of a class, just a little bit. I've looked into it. Lisa says she's looked into it. So we figured out where our north are as above but for below, and our left hand and right hand. So write this down. If you have a lot of wax that's coming up in the above, that's the spiritual realm. So that means that you got a lot of spiritual work that needs to be done. Or depending, this is as a caveat on all of this, it depends on the whole entire reading. So you just can't be a blanket statement and say, all of my wax is in the above the spirit domain, so that means that this is what's going to happen. You have to look at the entire reading. So that's why it's important that you have a teacher to teach you all this, because you just can't figure it out and say, oh, this is, you need to work on your spiritual stuff. You may not have to work on it. It may be divine connection that is sending you the message. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to work on something. It could mean that your ancestors, your guides, your goddesses are working with you. It just depends on what symbols are in that section. So much to this. I know, so much to this. So, if you have a lot of wax on the top, that's your above, that's your spirit connection, that's your spiritual realm up there, that means you got some work to do. If it's coming from below, that means you've got a lot of grounded stuff coming up. You've got a lot of sacral chakra shit coming up that needs to be worked on. If it's coming from the right side, that means you've got future stuff coming up. If it's coming from the left side, that means you've got past stuff that needs to be fixed. Or that's where most of the energy is coming from. So that's a quick little thing. Tanya said, I've done it a couple times since the first time with you. Yep, I love it. Tanya was in my my psychic development course, so she's done this too. So that's how you get started. Now, when you look at flows, I'm going to give you a little bit of what flows look like in symbols. Let me see what it's at. So you're going to be looking for spirals. You're going to be looking for clockwise spirals, counterclockwise, claws and hooks and roses and overflows and tears and drips. So there's so much to this, but that's a little bit of what you're going to be looking for and what that means. You're just not going to be looking at it and just going to be like, well, it's all in the spirit world. Well, it may be all in the spirit world, but what does that mean if you have a counterclockwise flow in the spirit world? That has a meaning to it. Towers and mountains are another thing. So that's very important that you look for that. So let's talk a little bit about candle flame. Candle flame is another one. If you want to take this candle wax reading to the next level, while that is burning and while you are taking notes on the wax, you need to take notes on how this flame flickers. Is it strong? Is it weak flame? Does it pop? Does it spark? Is it lots of movement? Which side is it moving to? Is it moving to the spiritual side, the grounded side, the left side, the right side? Is it dancing? Does it keep going out? All of this has a meaning to it. And it is very important that you pay attention to it, because this writes or tells your answer to your question. This is creating that story around what your question is, and the guides and your ancestors and goddesses or whoever you're working with is answering you, but you need to learn how to read the signs. You need to learn how to read the symbols. And in the academy I teach you that. So I want to show you a couple of samples that I have, and I'm hoping you can read these, or you can see these. Now, this is a love spell for someone that I did, because she was her husband was having some drug issues, and they were together, and now they're back together, and he's trying to refocus, and so she felt that they were just coming apart because of the drug use and all that kind of stuff. So, we did a spell. Ooh, I love that one. A love spell. And this is, I'm hoping you can see it. And with this candle, I used statue candles or figure candles. And they were red. And I teach you all of this. I'm hoping you guys can see this. It won't fall because it's pretty much melted into the thing. Except some of my lavender come out. So, as you can see, there's lots of flow going on. There's lots of symbols. And depending on where it landed or where the flow is at, hope you guys can see that, has a specific meaning. And you can see where there's male and a female candle. That's the ending of it. So this is one candle that I did, and it has a very specific meaning. And you can see if I can get that a little bit better. There you go. And you have to learn how to read all these wax symbols and divination and the flows and, you know, how did they come together? Because when you have candle wax or figure candles together for this one, it had lots of hearts, and then it had like breaking up, and the wax was coming together, then it was moving, and then it was just, one was burning faster than the other one, and all of that has meaning to it. So you can get lost in all this if you don't understand what you're looking at, and if you don't understand how to read candle wax. So that is one. This is a love reading candle wax. So here's another one that I did. Is everybody okay? Does everybody have any questions? You can jump on comments. Any questions? Before I move on to another one. Any questions? Alright, so let's move on to the other one. Now this is a spell that I did, a protection spell for me. So this was just a regular candle spell. I don't think this one will, some of the herbs will probably fall off, but this is one of my most favorite ones I did. This is protection spell. So what do you guys see in this spell, this candle spell? What are the symbols that you see in this candle? So type in the comments what you automatically see. If I can get that right. I'm going to turn it around a little bit so you guys can see it. As you can see, I've got herbs in there according to my spell, what I wanted to manifest. What I need some insight with. I'm trying to pick that off. So what do you see in here? Yep, a scorpion. You are exactly right. Lots of overflow, especially on this one right there. And there's lots of towers right there. Lots of connection, lots of leaving, lots of mountains. Yep, water flow. I see a wave. Aw, Princess sees a wave. See? And that's how you can do candle wax readings with the symbols that comes up. Very good. I love that water flow. Yeah, in a wave. Awesome. So it was about a protection kind of spell because something was going on that I needed to remove in my business. So a wave. Alicia sees a wave. You guys saw a wave. So waves has to do with flow and emotional clearing, right? So I love that. So it's about letting go of things, right? And emotionally clearing out, cleansing for sure. But depending on where it was in the position, if it was in the past position or the present position, that'll tell me what I need to clear out or what I need to work on. And it'll tell me what next spell I need to do. Okay, or what my blocks are, what's holding me back, what is going on with that. So lots of cool stuff you can get from the spell. I love that wave. It's an ocean. This is one of my favorite ones. I keep it on my desk all the time because I just freaking love the symbols of it. I love that one. So, any other questions about candle wax divination? Another thing that you can do instead of just burning it like that, you can drip the candle in a bowl of water and swirl it in a bowl of swirling water and see what symbols come up in the water in your scrying bowl. I love that. I love that way of doing it also. It's kind of like water scrying and candle scrying at the same time. Like a wax sculpture, yes it is. It'll give you lots of information on it. So let's move on to bone throwing. Now, let me move on. Let me see if anybody, because I don't think you guys posted anything in your candle wax readings yet. I don't see any pictures. I see that Gina said she's going to light her candle, and Alicia said that she's going to do some stuff in the future. So, if I don't see any pictures, so I want you guys to take pictures of your wax divination, put them in that thread so I can comment on it, and we can get the hive mind energy going on it. Okay, wax and water. I know, that one's pretty cool. I love that one. So the next one. Now you guys are very interested in this one. This is bone throwing. Now this is kind of more voodoo, kind of African kind of way of divination. So in my academy, I'm going to have someone come in who taught me how to do it. She is my circle sister. And I'm going to try to have her come in and teach us a class on how to do bone throwing, and that's going to be in the academy. Gina said, I think I'm going to pour my wax into water and try scrying that way. Do it. Absolutely do it. Yep. It may be better for you. Instead of just having it drip, you can just pour the wax in there and look at the symbols that are coming up. And then when it settles down, which section does most of the wax gather on. So, I like that one. Let us know how it goes. There's many forms of wax divination. So, bone throwing. Alright, so. Bone throwing. And this is a form of divination that is lesser known, but I love it. Right? So, here is my bowl for bone throwing, and then I don't know if you can see it all, but here are some of my collections of bones, and every bone has a meaning. Okay, so I think in our class I'm going to probably start the class with trying to collect their bone collection. Okay, so what I have in mine, I have a lot of bones in mine. I have a deer tooth. That means something. And then I have a man, little guy in here. He is assigned a male energy or a person. Let me see if you can get a little bit better. I've got some shells in here, some conch shells. And how they land depends on what the meaning is. And I have a thimble or thumb, what are those called? Thimbles? Thimbles. And whether it lands up or down has a meaning. I've got a raccoon penis. I've got, where is that? An elk's tooth or a tooth. Kind of fun. Got lots of teeth. I got a shark's tooth. Shark's tooth. And a jawbone. Jawbone. You guys can see that. And a vertebrae. And then I've got, let's see what else I've got in here. I've got domino, which means you can use for timing if you want to. A ring, that means things are tied or not tied together. And I got the little female energy. I've got a little baby for baby energy. So yeah, a domino. You can use dominoes for timing, or if depending on how it, when you throw the bones, if it's face up or face down, depends on what it means. If it's face up, that means things are seen. If it's face down, it means things are hidden. I just had a whole conversation about raccoon penis toothpicks the other day. That's my life. That's hilarious. I've got tons of crystals. This is my, one of these, the skull, represents ancestors, and then the other one represents death. And this is how you sign them. And then a key. And for me, this is a coffin nail, so this is like the ending of stuff. And then I have a crystal bracelet. And this kind of is whatever is in, when I'm throwing the bones, and whatever is in this center is what I read first. Kind of like, because that's the most important one. So what I usually do, oh, I have a key. Did I tell you that? I got coin for money, a safety pin. Yeah. I've got some rib bones from a snake. Got a couple of those. So what I usually do is I'll ask a question and I'll just, ooh, I got stabbed. That's one of the dangers of throwing the bones, is I will just run my hand over it. I have my my client run their hands over it while they ask a question and they're stirring it, right? And then I just throw it out on the mat. But this is a different type of technique than tarot, a different technique than really anything I've ever learned. So it's not exactly it's just, it's interesting because it's not exactly the way that divination is taught for tarot. The symbols are a little bit different. How they react and interact with each other, how they point to each other means something. So if you're doing a love reading, for example, you have these two, you throw these bones, you throw them out, right? And they're like, they end up this way, facing out. That means that they've got some issues going on in their love life. But if they're facing each other, or even on top of each other, the top means the sex is great, good chemistry. They're facing each other, that means they're really connected, they're working together. If they have, though, what is it? A ring in the middle, that means they're really, really connected. That means they are bound together, their commitment is there. If you have, let me see if I can find it, a coffin nail in the middle, or you have a signed, a charm or a bone that means death, then that means that it's going to end. Something's going on. And if I have this assigned to, where is it at? Where's my mask at? Oh, I have this about being truthful or not being truthful. So if it's face up, you're being truthful. If it's face down, things are hidden. So if you have these together and it's face up, then you know exactly that there's no secrets between them. But if you have it face down, that means you've got some major secrets going on and someone's hiding something. So I love it. I love the sound of this. So I just love, oh, here's my shark's tooth too. Shark's tooth is like, you better beware. Someone's out for blood for sure. So that's how I do bone readings. That's a huge, huge class on just bone readings alone. So I know you guys are interested in bone readings and how to learn those. So if you're interested, please let me know in the comments. And because I'm just interested to see how many people are more interested in the lesser known forms of divination than like just tarot or oracle. Because I find it fascinating that people are more interested in the ones that aren't so well known. Yeah, I can't stop collecting. I'm a collector too, man. I am. Yeah, sounds awesome. So yeah, that's a class that's going to be in the academy. And we're probably going to be putting our bone sets together. I'm going to have my circle sister come in and teach us a class on that. So I'm super excited about that because I know a lot of my Academy girls are like, yes, I want to learn how to throw bones. So bones have energy, and how they passed away has energy. Um, so they still have a life force in them, and they'll tell you. I was always intrigued when I saw it in movies. Yes, it's very, it's hidden and it's mysterious. I think it's more hidden and mysterious than tarot. When you do a tarot reading, anyways, people are like, oh my gosh, it's so mysterious, and how do you know that? And you get this sense of occultism and mysticism behind the tarot. But it's even more so with bone throwing because you're working with the energy, the direct energy of your ancestors. When you start throwing the bones, you have to introduce your ancestors or your bones to your ancestors bone by bone. And you have to introduce each other and ask for them to come in for blessings and ask for them to give you direct answers. So it's very much more, I think, than working with your ancestors when you're throwing bones than it is with divination. For me, divination is more spirit guides, more kind of goddess energy, angels if you work with angels. For me, throwing the bones is directly connected with your ancestors. So whenever you're throwing the bones, you are directly calling in your ancestors to give you that correct answer, to give you the answers that you need to your questions and your direct guidance. So that's why I feel that it's a different form of communication, but it's still divination. But for me, it's directly working with your ancestors. And you can get all kinds of bone sets. Um, Actually, I think my Circle Sister sells those. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in the Academy. Super excited about that. So let's, anybody have any questions so far about anything before we go on to a little bit about tea leaf reading and coffee ground reading? No? 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 Alright, so tea leaf reading and coffee ground reading are kind of the same as candle wax reading. You're going to have sections of where your tea leaf or coffee ground is going to land. You have the spirit, you have the as above so below, you have the future position and your past position. The symbols for me are usually the same. So what I usually do is I have a cup of coffee and I put some coffee grounds or tea leaves in the bottom. Okay, and then I start drinking that. And then I start asking the question. And I kept meditating over the drink. And when I'm almost completely at the bottom of it, I have a little bit of liquid left. I will pour that and tip it over into like either a saucer or into like a paper towel or something that absorbs that liquid. Just a tiny bit of liquid, not a whole bunch of liquid, just a tiny bit. And then what I do is I'm asking the question again. And I will turn the cup 3 times, 3 entire times as I'm asking the question. And that way it gives me insight into what I need to know. And then the tarot leaf or the coffee grounds are going to give me answers to that question as I'm turning it. And then when I'm done turning it, I tap it 3 times on the top of the cup, right? And then I turn it over. And I start looking for symbols. And I start turning it and looking at it. And are all the symbols at the bottom? Are there symbols together? Are they far apart? What do they mean? So that is how I do coffee ground and tea leaf readings. And that'll give you a lot of insight also into what is going on with your question that you have. Any insight into it. So you might want to practice with that. Get some really good coffee ground or some tea leaves. I like ones that are a little bit bigger for tea leaf readings, not so small, just because I just don't like to. It's easier for me to look at bigger kind of symbols than they are smaller ones. And you want to start off with, for me, this is how I start off with. I look at things that are clumped together, and it tells a story. Do you see a man and a woman? Do you see a dragon? Do you see a forest? Do you see trees? Do you see obstacles? Do you see mermaids? Or what do you see? Hearts? Do you see a skull? So these are going to tell you a lot of what is going on with your question. And then I usually read counterclockwise. I find the clump. Wherever the clump is, the largest clump is, then I start reading that in a circle until I come back around and I start taking notes. Any loose leaf tea, that's going to give you a lot of images. I don't like the finer ones. I like the ones that are loose leaf, the loose leaf tea. And you can get, I like specialty teas for that. I don't like Lipton, or what's the other one? I don't even know what the other one is. I don't like any of those. I love to get loose teas from specialty shops, especially when I'm doing tea leaf readings, and because it's easier for me to read. But don't get Lipton, don't get the generic stuff. Get a good quality tea leaf. Because it has to be, you have to drink it, and it has to taste good, and you have to divine with it. So the better the ingredients, the better your outcome is going to be, because it has, I hate to say it, but it has more energy into it. Especially if you can get handcrafted tea. Those are the best kind to get. I think that's why I hesitate to collect bones of life force still attached. Yes, it is. I like it though. I don't have a problem with it. As you can see, I don't know if you can see back there. You probably can't see it. That big thing right there is a skull, a cow skull that my boyfriend Blair got me for Samhain. And I would love to just put it on the wall, but I can't figure out a way to hang it because I want to display it. But it's painted in black, and the top of it has all these runes and sigils on it and magic on it. So I would love to be able to display it, but I can't figure out how to hang it. So yeah, it's right there. Right there. It's a big guy. Well, see, Gina makes her own. See, there you go. And you can make your own too. Mountain Rose Herbs has a lot of tea blends, or you can just get individual herbs from them and make your own tea. I tried tea leaf reading a couple times and was frustrated with the type of tea I had. Herbal blend was a nightmare. Yeah. That's why I like the bigger ones, because you can get for me, my eyesight, I like the bigger ones. But if you have the smaller ones, maybe they work for you. It's all about trial and error. And once you find something that really works for you, then you have to stick with it. Okay, I can't tell you something that works for me that'll work for you. It's about trial and error. It's your magic. It's your ancestors. It's your guides that are going to give you the answers. Awesome. So we're here about an hour, so that's our hour mark. So if you're interested in any of this, this is going always in the academy. We've had some awesome calls. We dive deep into this magic like this. I would teach you step by step on how to do scrying. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is the beginning of your divination experience. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more storytelling to it. This is just the beginning of the story, so you got to figure out what the story is in between the beginning and the end. Could you hang the skull from the ceiling rather than no? It's no. I tried. I started growing herbs to make my own teas. Yay! Yeah, I've started doing lemon balm. Because I'm in Texas, so you have to be careful about what you grow, because Texas heat is death, seriously. So I seem to be doing really good with lemon balm. So I think I'm going to grow some lemon balm and see how that works in tea. So if you're interested, don't forget to send me a message about the academy. We'll get you in. You have immediate access to this. This is in the divination or in the psychic development course. I'm not sure. So either one of these are they're in there. I teach you how to do this step by step, so you know where to start. I leave all the confusion out of it. We get to Witchin FAST. If you have any doubts about how to do something, I'm always here for you. You have a circle of sisters. And they said I planted transplanted irises and my dog is helping me. I know. I'm lucky because my dog just does not really care about plants. So she doesn't really care. So if you're interested in the Academy, if you're interested in coaching with me, please send me a message. I'll get you that information. We can get you started ASAP. You don't have to wait to dive deep into your magic, to remove all the fluff and confusion out of witchcraft. We get you on a focused path. We get you, we get you driven to where you need to be. We get you accountability partners so you don't go down the rabbit hole and try to figure out this shit on your own, because it'll leave you all kinds of crazy. It'll give you more questions than it will answers. I promise you that. So we put those blinders on. We get you super focused, what you need to concentrate on, so you can start to Witchin FAST just like that. Take the confusion out of it. Super focused. We have a great group of women in there so far. So I can't wait for it to grow. So if you're interested in that, shoot me a message, let me know, and we'll get you in the Academy today. So all right, my witchy sisters, please practice. I've got 2 more days coming up. Hey, Alicia, how are you? And I always want to say Alicia, and I talked to her, and I was like, please forgive me, my niece's name is Alicia, so it automatically says Alicia, but that's not her name. So get into the Academy. We'll get you in now. You got 2 more days of divination coming up, so please take pictures, please ask questions, please post them, and don't forget that July is a new month of giveaways that you can win, and that thread's on there too. So get into the Academy, send me a message. If you have any doubts about it, let's talk about it. Let's talk you through what needs to be discussed, and we'll get you in the Academy. All right, my witchy sisters, Witch on, and we'll see you in the Facebook group. Blessed be everyone.